Alright, guys. Welcome to Kgeosportstalk. We're at Capron's house this weekend, week 11. We're going to go through a few matchups here, and then we're going to cover the standings. We got a few comments to make about that. But to start, right here, we've got Capron's matchup we thought, of course, that we were going to cover here. So Sonia's going to click into that. And we're going to breeze through this matchup here.
As long as the internet works.
Here we go. It worked out quicker than before, though. Alright, so here we've got, Capron, and then who is Capron playing? Chuck this week? Is that who he's playing? Okay, Chuck. Capron right now is a 55% favorite. Alright, he played Bortles this week. Questionable. We were talking about this earlier. Might have been a better move to go with Stafford.
Might have shot that load on Thursday night.
But, Bortles struggled against my D, against Tennessee, so that's all right. But he's still a favorite. When I look at Chuck's team here, though, Alex Smith versus San Diego. I mean, I don't know. I would never consider starting Alex Smith, but I will say this. San Diego's D, it's a solid matchup. And Alex Smith does have some weapons. Sharkhandrick West has been playing well. So I think that's going to be favorable for Chuck. I like the move. And then as far as, ultimately here, battle of the wideouts. Calvin Johnson, Dez Bryant versus Demarius. Marvin Jones I don't want to put in that same realm, but I think this is a solid matchup. Chuck's going to need some big performances out of guys like Marvin Jones. Flex, C.J. Anderson, can he come back to life? But this is going to be the wild card right here. Alshon Jeffrey, does he play? I think he will play. He's been injured all week, though. Alshon Jeffrey, 3 straight weeks, blowing up. If this guy ends up healthy, I think this is the difference right here. Because he's not been healthy all week. So we'll see how this shakes out. But right now, I give the edge to Capron, obviously. Chuck's got some wild cards. I like the Alex Smith play and Demarius Thomas.
Kills me. Doesn't know who Antonio Brown is. Probably going to win this.
So we will go to the next matchup that Capron's going to cover. My matchup.
It's got to be Edge's matchup. This is less than 1.5. It's a close matchup. We got Dalton versus Rivers right up top. Both projected right around 24 points. Jordan Matthews, 10.9. I think that's an understatement. I think he's going to blow up against Tampa Bay this week. We got Marquis Sanchez back in the helm, so I think that's definitely going to work in his favor. Jeremy Langford, this is huge. Angier, you won on that battle. Cincinnati's D, it wasn't worth it for me. So you definitely got me there. Overall, I would say it's going to be a 1.5 difference matchup, one way or the other.
To keep it easy.
To keep it easy. It might come down to kickers and Gostkowski. He's a player. Matt Bryant did terrible for me, so we'll see what happens, but that's a close matchup. Looks pretty good. And now we're going to Casey and Eddie Clark.
And dude, just to start on this one, we picked this one out because we thought, not only is it 1 versus 12, but you've got a pretty close live projection here. McKinley at 9 points, went with TJ Yeldon Thursday night. Average game against a tough defense. This is a tight matchup. It's 46% that McKinley wins. Eddie, we're still cracking up over that picture that we got here of Eddie. But, as far as his icon goes. But this is tough. This shows right here how this league is. 1 versus 12. It's basically a 50. This is a coin flip matchup. And I think it comes down to the fact that McKinley's got some guys that can put up points. You got Carson Palmer, Emmanuel Sanders, Eric Decker, Marshawn Lynch, Martellus Bennett. Where is the weakness on this team? How is he in 12th place? Well, granted, Marshawn Lynch has been injured. Emmanuel Sanders is injured right now, but he's got a backup QB in. But when I look at this matchup, I think, Eddie's on a roll
I mean,
now.
Eddie's got Jarvis Landry. He's a stud.
Yeah.
He's been a stud all year, and he continues to be a stud. Whether he's in the return game, catching balls out of the backfield, running the ball, he does everything. So Jarvis Landry, 25 points.
25? It's like 50 points.
50 points.
Eddie, dude, what do you think about this?
This is his winner right here.
What do you
Jarvis
think about...
Landry.
I mean, Landry's been...
I mean, Jimmy
huge for
Graham,
him.
I mean, hasn't
Dude,
really done much.
what do you think about him playing Crabtree? I mean, Crabtree's now very relevant all of a
He's
sudden.
relevant, but projected over Jarvis
Yeah.
Landry, I think that's bold.
Well, dude, because of
Brad
the QB.
Evans was not doing that.
Dude, now here's one. Dante Moncrief that he just picked up off of free agency. He was a free agent up until
He
like
should
today.
be. Andrew Luck is not there.
Right. So you think
Dante
Moncrief's
Moncrief,
value
when Hasselbeck
Yeah.
was playing, didn't catch a
didn't
ball.
do anything. Okay. No, and dude, he really didn't.
Right.
You know?
I know that.
So you got Moncrief for LeGarrette Blount and then
Kansas
dropped
City
him.
historically has been a good defense. Minnesota, Kansas City, I like both those defenses.
Yeah.
I think that'll be interesting.
We picked out this matchup because this is gonna be a tight matchup. It's a 1 versus 12, but it's gonna be a tight matchup, I would guess. So we'll go back to the standings here and real quick. These are the matchups, and then as far as the standings go, I did want to ask Capron though, just as far as just viewing this right here. Capron's in 5th place, leads the league in points. He's at 500, 5-5. Capron, what are your thoughts? I mean, as far as, you have no waiver budget remaining. I mean, what are your thoughts coming into week 11, knowing that there's 3 weeks remaining, and you've got guys, like, if McKinley were to go on a run, win out, and you were to lose out,
Then I'm in last place.
then you're in last place and you lead the league in points.
Lead the league in points. Lead the league in points against. Not good. That's fantasy football. I mean, it's week to week. Anything can happen. So let me put this in your court. Who do you think is going to win the league? Give me the final 2 and then the final. What do you think it's going to be?
I think the best teams right now, I think there's really 3 teams. There's more than 3 teams, but I'll narrow it down. I think Gordy's team is, especially his running backs, with having AP, Charkandrick West, Devontae Freeman, and LaShawn McCoy. The fact
dominant running
he's
back.
He's got to bench one of these guys in a 12-man league. That's ridiculous. So I think Gordy's team at 5-5. Your team, obviously, you've been scoring a lot of points. You've traded away every guy but Eifert, and you're still averaging 138. You're very much in contention here. And then I think just going up the ladder, I do like between, Adams had a phenomenal run. He's had some very unfortunate injuries that have happened that there's nothing that you can do about. There's no amount of talent that's going to change that. Adams is still right in the thick of things. But this is what we're looking at right here. L4, lost 4, W4, won for the last month, it's all about runs, and it's about injuries. Injuries change the season in fantasy football. So these 2 teams, Eddie and Reelman, I will guarantee you one of these guys will be in the championship.
Let's point out Ozzy here, too.
Yeah.
Win 2. Just out of nowhere.
Right. And he's 1 game out, Ozzy,
made a trade, made a couple of moves.
So anything can happen here. One other thing that we'll point out before we wrap up, the $70 that Angier's got remaining. All right? Everybody else is kind of dwindled down. There's not much left here.
You can't take it home with you. You got to use it.
Right. But that's the thing. At this point, is there even a player that's going to come out in the next 3 weeks
There always
that is worth the $70?
There's going to be a guy.
We'll see.
He's not going to have to spend it all on one player. He looks down this list. He says, all right, $33 bin, I got to
True.
And he does that twice. He got the 2 top guys, whoever the 2 top free agents are.
So it could be a calculated move by Angier.
Yeah.
Right? This could be something where Angier's like, you know what? I'm going to try to squeak into the playoffs, right? Because, at this point, there's no guarantees. He's in 9th place. Make it to the playoffs, and then all of a sudden, he's got the waiver budget locked down. He can go higher than anybody else.
Shots.
So, That's week 11, guys.
Cheers.